Good morning guys, welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. Today we're going to be covering Telcoin, the ticker is TEL, against USDT on the weekly time frame. Now, diving into this video today, I've got some key trend lines in here for Telcoin. So these red trend lines are resistance lines and these green areas are our key support areas if we start to come down and retest these lows here from back in October for TEL. So I think at the moment, let's go for a brief breakdown of what's happened from this top here. So this is where TEL had this massive, you can see this large, really large impulsive wave. I remember being a part of that in 2021. It was absolutely insane. And from this point though, where we topped out in the markets, you can see Telcoin started to sort of slowly form this descending triangle where you're getting a series of lower highs. And we created this red line of resistance for ourselves, okay? And we lost that red line of resistance. Sorry, we kept running into that level of resistance, coiled up, held this level of support, and we actually lost this key area of support and are now have not retested it since as resistance. So this is one of our key resistance points moving forward in the future for Telcoin that we're going to keep an eye on once the charts do eventually start to pick up furthermore. So again, do get these on your charts. This was once a key area of support for Telcoin, and we lost that support, confirmed it as resistance. Okay, so this is a very strong area of resistance for us, moving forward. Do get it into your charts. Okay, now this other trend line here, so that's the breakdown of this descending triangle. Okay, and I will show you the target of that actually before I move on. And you can see that we've actually met the target. So going from the peak of the triangle to the neckline horizontal level of support, where we actually lost this support here for Telcoin, you can see we actually came down to this key area of support for Telcoin in the past. You can see we had a little bit of support here back in 2018 on its inception, and again right now we have met the technical target. Had a bit of an overextension to be fair, but we've met this technical target of the descending triangle breakdown to a T pretty much, and you can see we rapidly came down through these levels. So right now TEL has a lot of space because we had no sort of support here. Right now we're coiling up and we're starting to gradually work our way through the charts. I do think this sort of zone here is a place where Telcoin could sort of just have this nice little breakout up to this level of resistance, but I'll get into that shortly anyway. But yeah, so again, you've got this key area of, this was previous support, okay, was previous support. This area was previous support, previous support, previous support. Okay, now they're both levels of resistance because they have been lost. Okay, so you lost this support, turned it to resistance, and then you lost that, lost this support, and then now looking to sort of slowly grind your way back up and meet it as resistance. Okay, so these are 2 points of contact. Do get them into your charts, guys. Okay, so you've got 0, 0, 0, 4, 4, 5, 5, 1, 8, and you've got 0, 0, 0, 9, 4, 7, 102. Okay, these are our points of contact. I think when Telcoin does start to, if it does start to pick up a bit here, we need to be cautious of and look for some sort of pullback, I think, because it's been very strong. It was previous support that's not been back tested at all yet as resistance. So I do think when we come up to this sort of stage for Telcoin, we will meet resistance and come for some sort of pullback. Okay, so that's your key resistance lines there on the charts to get in, and I just showed you the breakdown of how we got to this target in the first place down from these lows. So let's look at our support levels and current price action moving forward here for TEL. So if we zoom in a little bit here, you can see that Telcoin's gradually picked up from this low, okay, started holding support, okay, and since then you sort of entered this sort of horizontal triangle where you're coiling up between a level of resistance and you've got this level of support, and you're sort of getting to an apex here before a breakout is going to occur, potentially to the upside or potentially to the downside. Okay, so given the likelihood at the moment, I think the momentum is maintaining rather positive if Telcoin can hold this other trend line here. So you've got from these lows, you've got this trend line of support right now for TEL. So let me remove this horizontal triangle quickly. You can see that Telcoin off of its lows in October has been coming up and bouncing off of this trend line continuously since its lows. So this might be a key indication here. If we do start to hold these lows and sort of tackle out above this high for Telcoin, I do think this confirms that potentially we're looking to run into this previous area of support and meet it as resistance. Okay, as I said, because it was previous support here, it hasn't been back tested, and I do think this could be a potential target that Telcoin is trying to reach right now. But again, it all depends on taking out this high, okay, this local high here that we put in on the 5th of December. Okay, so if Telcoin can get back above 323673 and start holding that as support for a couple of weeks, I do think potentially you've got the leg up to 445518, and that potentially could offer a nice long opportunity from current price of around 59% for Telcoin. But again, to see the confirmation of that, we trade on confirmation. We have to see this local high taken out, and we have to see this trend line hold as support continuously on the way up here. Because if you start losing the trend line and hitting your head on it as resistance, okay, and say for example we put in a high and we've got a lower high, and we start to lose this trend line and turn it to resistance over time, okay, and you start retracing back down to these lows, I think it's quite negative. And potentially, if we do lose this support here, this trend line of support, it's a potential signal that we're looking to go short back down to our key green support area, okay, from previous lows in October. So at the moment things are looking pretty healthy. I do think at some point we are going to have the pullback, and the key identification of that is losing the support. Okay, it's losing that support, and to be fair, right now, if we fail to tackle out of this high, then I do think that's also another indicator, because if we get this high, we get a lower high, and we do lose this support level, okay, it indicates you've got a bit of depleting buying pressure right now. You've had this nice sort of leg up. Right now we're just in an A, B, C correction back down to support, and potentially all we're doing is coming back for charging up the batteries a bit and getting ready to go again. So potentially you've got this A. If we fail to take out this A wave high, and we put in a lower high and lose this ascending support level, I do think we could have some sort of A, B, C back down to previous areas of support, looking for continuation in the near future. But again, right now, as I've said, the charts, what the charts are showing us is we're holding support beautifully on this trend line here, and we had this little sort of ascending triangle down here, broke out, fell back to this trend line for support, and ever since then, okay, you've been moving up steadily and slowly but steadily up in the charts here, working through waveforms. To see the continuation and the next impulsive move, we have to see the break of this local high, and that's where I am expecting that 60% run up to 5518, where we meet this previous support, and potentially at this point come back for a larger correction on Telcoin. And this is a large impulsive wave 1 coming back for a larger wave 2 to support, looking for continuation, and the third wave, which I think would potentially take us up to this level here for Telcoin, okay, and we're starting to literally flip the switch here for Tel moving forward. Now I've got this other green trend line of support down here, and this is the ultimate bearish case, I think, for Telcoin. If we did start losing this as support and sort of retrace our way back down to this point here, okay, and then have a relief rally into the 050, run into resistance and meet that as resistance, I do think an impulsive wave, if we was to see some sort of larger correction for Bitcoin and it does come down and lose its lows, I'm not saying that it will, guys, but we need to take in both occasions here and look at both sides, okay, and not let one side just go through the other ear. You know, we need to keep an eye on all sorts of scenarios. So for me, if you lose this low that we've held since October, okay, if we do lose that and say run into resistance and create a dead cat bounce off of these highs here, where you come down to support, you then get relief off of this support here from the October lows, but run into resistance on the way back up and lose the October lows, okay, then potentially the 74964 range is where I'm looking for support, because you can see we held it as support here and it was once previous resistance, okay. So you had the resistance and eventually you broke out of resistance, fell back to it as support here, confirmed it as support, and then you've ran up impulsively. And again, since backtesting this area, you've not come back down there yet. So if we was to lose this low, I do think potentially this would be the final target and optimal opportunity areas to get involved for Telcoin, and you'd be backtesting this August 2019 high that was previous resistance, and also backtesting for a second point of contact on support from January 2021, where this massive impulsive wave actually took off for Telcoin. So again, it's just a video to quickly update you on important points and factors right now, levels of support and resistance, because this is what this game is, okay. And it's a game of support and resistance. There's patterns within patterns, indicators everywhere, left, right and center. But again, keeping it sweet and simple, sometimes you can see areas that were troublesome beforehand. You know, here we got above it, we held support on this previous level of resistance, okay, then we lost that resistance and eventually turned it to support. So right now this was previous resistance, broke out, lost that resistance to support, and turned it to resistance again. So again, this is the zone why I'm looking for a retest to this level eventually for Telcoin, and I'm also looking for this level of retest of resistance if we can continue to sort of work our way up here, holding this trend line of support and equally tackling out of this high, because you could say you're in some sort of ascending triangle here at the same time, coiling up and looking for a breakout. Now again, a little bit more confluence to why we may potentially to this level here on the weekly is because if we have broke out of this horizontal triangle, I do believe Telcoin's got a minimum breakout right now back up to this 44518 mark again, because you've been coiling up in some sort of triangle here, and you can see this level of resistance actually has been broken above and held as support. So if we look at this a little bit closer, we was coming up and down here, you've broken out, come back to it for support, are bouncing off of this ascending support that we've been holding since October, and are now looking for the break. So to see this, we need to see the follow through, guys, to confirm it. We have to see this local high from December taken out, November, December. We have to see that taken out and held as support to confirm that this is our next target, and I think that would be a good area to take some profit off the table, and as I mentioned earlier, a further 60% long opportunity there for Telcoin. Now something very interesting to me as well was, and why we're seeing, I think we're seeing so much relief from this area and are currently, you know, working our way back up through these charts here for Telcoin, is because we've bounced off of the golden ratio. So if I show you quickly on a more zoomed out perspective, and again, this is why potentially these are some of my support zones for Telcoin, from the all-time high, retracing back down to this wave where this large impulsive wave started, okay? So this level of support here, you can see that the 050 right now is what we're running into as resistance, okay? So we fell all the way down to the 0618, okay, which is one of my key support areas, just shy of that support area. We fell down to the 0618. We've bounced off of that as support, okay, and right now you're running into the 050, coiling up underneath the 050, looking to break that. Okay, so if you could potentially say this is what's going to give us our confirmation to run back up to this point here. If you start to see the close above 290553, okay, if you start to see the close above that, I do think potential, and holding it as support, and with this ascending support line here that we're holding over time, I do think you're looking for that 60% long up back to that 445518 area. So I hope you enjoyed today's content, guys. Was that the last I was going to say? I think it was, yeah. So we've come back to a key area of support. From this low, we broke out. We've come back to the 0618. Right now, all we're looking to do is coil up. If we can start to tackle out of key resistance areas here and maintain this sort of trajectory for Telcoin, I think over time, potentially come back for a correction. I do think Tel's going to start working its way back up to key areas of previous support that we've turned and we haven't back tested as resistance, and I think that's the near to mid short term target for Telcoin for me, getting back up to this area of previous support. Lost that support, and right now I think we could be on our way back up to this area to meet it again as resistance. So I hope you enjoyed the content today, guys. If you did, please do like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell for my channel. I really appreciate your time. From Chart Nerd TA, guys, take care. Peace out.